What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Permission to Shine, your podcast dedicated to hosting the most humble, inspiring stories. I am your host, Andrew Nemani, and today we've got a special episode with Daniel Pidgeon, who now is the CEO of McIntosh Group, the legendary speaker and audio brand from the 1940s. It's a global brand, and what he's doing there is amazing. We got to record this at the House of Sound in New York City, this insane $30 million condo in the heart of Chelsea that's been transformed into this audio and visual experience showroom. Lady Gaga has lived there previously. Succession was filmed there. So the minute you step off of the busy streets of New York and into this space, you feel the magic. And so I hope that we can transport you there. Dan has also served as CEO of Sears Home Services, overseeing 7,000 employees there. He's helped lead and run the Consumer Electronics Show. Think all of the crazy robots and new gadgets, that's where they get showcased every year. So he truly breathes and lives this industry, and he's a very special guy. What he talks about and being a good leader and what it means to be fulfilled in your career, I think you guys will find very special. So enjoy the episode, and as always, let me know what you think. Thank you so much. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
100%. So for people who don't know the legendary brand McIntosh Group, what is it?
So McIntosh Group actually is the company that owns a series of brands. The flagship brand is the iconic McIntosh Labs amplifiers. And they make high-end, high-performance electronic components. And they're really the original amplifier company. In fact, where they really gained fame is they were the power behind Woodstock. And they powered that through a generation, but they really defined what hi-fi is, what high-fidelity sound is, since the beginning, and it's global. I mean, they've defined it anywhere in the world.
Wow. When were they created?
McIntosh was founded in 1949.
They've been around a long time.
Yes.
And you do what for them?
I'm the CEO of McIntosh Group, which is the owner of McIntosh Labs.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that now?
A year and a half.
Okay, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been great. It's been fun.
That's cool. I feel like fun is probably a proper word, probably not all-inclusive, but we're at the House of Sound, New York City right now. And so hopefully people are watching this and you get to kind of see one of the just beautiful rooms that we're in. And you just gave me this insane tour of the 6-story house. Kind of walk me through what this is and what your vision is for the House of Sound.
So this is sort of the coming together of art, design, music, sound, and it brings it together in an elevated fashion. And it's really a unique way to experience our products because it's in an environment that if we do our job right, we will inspire, create a spark that gets you to really get interested in high-end sound equipment.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And you guys opened this, or maybe a soft opening?
Just a couple of weeks ago. It's open by appointment only, so people can request an appointment, and they get a personal tour, and in about 2 hours, they get to experience what music can really be.
That's beautiful. I love that. You guys had a party a couple weeks ago with like 180 people?
Correct.
You said?
Correct.
And who's kind of the demographic of that audience?
So interestingly enough, that demographic was more press and journalists, and that was really who was attending that party. It was to introduce it to sort of the world. The demographic we're really looking for is the younger set that really has younger people. The beauty is they had this generation. You included a lot of the young generation of music, this love and this passion for music. But they never heard it in a way at this level. They've never heard music delivered in this elevated way in most cases. So we have a whole world to open up our products to. And that's what's really exciting is that we get the chance to introduce these products to people that have never heard their music played this way. You heard a couple tracks earlier that we were playing, and I could see from the expression on your face, it triggers something. There's something really great about just closing your eyes and indulging in a music that or a song that moves you in a way that's emotional, and it sticks with you. And that's what we're trying to let people know exists, which is this higher level of listening to music.
I love that. I think in a world where, right, you're a high achiever yourself, I'm sure you've had a lot of stress and things coming at you. So to be able to step away for a second and just be present in that magical moment of music is powerful.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, how much is it worth to somebody to be able to escape from everything? For maybe it's a song, maybe it's a movie, maybe it's whatever it is that you're completely captivated by the sound and the experience. You can't put a price on that. And so it's for people that go through stress, and life is very stressful. Gives you that escape, gives you that ability to get away.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I love talking about McIntosh, but I had you on as Dan Pidgeon because I'm very curious about just who you are as a person, like what you've been through. We've been friends for a while now, which I'm super grateful for. We're both from Iowa.
It's been great. I know this is a great connection right out the gate.
Yeah, it was. When I found out that you're from Iowa and now just doing these amazing things across the globe, it just makes me so proud. And I think sets a good example for all of us, right? We've got a bunch of Iowans in the friend group of what we can also do. So thank you for paving that path.
My pleasure.
And so you were also CEO of Sears previously, correct?
Correct. I was my title there was CEO of Sears Home Services, which was the service portion that was left after the Sears bankruptcy to put together and get a strategy together to move that forward.
Okay. What was that like?
Fulfilling, stressful, exciting. I have nothing but positive things to say because of the people that I got to work with and surrounded me, and it was an amazing and intense period of time. And you learn a lot under pressure, right? Because businesses in distress, businesses coming out of bankruptcy, there's all sorts of things that you can't do enough right quick enough.
Yeah.
But you can do right. And you lead it down a path, and we had, interestingly enough, a very successful run during that period of time. And I wouldn't trade those. I was there 2 years. I wouldn't trade those 2 years for anything. It was a good experience for me.
That's amazing. So day to day, like how would you sum up your goal when you were there for those 2 years? Like, what were you working towards every day?
So there was a vision that was created. I don't know if they've continued the vision since I've left, but the vision that was created was if wealthy people have somebody that takes care of their home when something goes wrong. Most normal people like me, I don't have somebody to call like that. So creating a home services segment out of the 5,000 technicians that were at Sears that no longer had to service the Sears stores could then open up those services to individual homeowners. And so that was the transition that we made, was to say it's no longer relying on a Sears store, but we can then focus our efforts into the home. And that created an exciting opportunity because the technicians were already in place.
Yeah, that's great.
And so you asked the daily responsibilities. It was around supporting that vision. So there's a lot of pieces you have to put in place because you're taking a company that was, completely related to, Sears stores, of which there were thousands of them around the world. And you then had to take those efforts and say, well, that's not going forward because the stores were closing. So we're going to take that effort and we're going to use it somewhere else. What do we need to believe and what do we need to do to get there? And one of the great books that I read is Working Backwards, which is you start and you decide what that vision, what that endpoint is, and then you put in place all of the things that need to happen for you to get there. It seems logical, but
Reverse engineer.
It doesn't always. People don't always practice that way. So I was fortunate enough, and I was able to put a team together that really understood the vision, really understood where we were going, and then helped me put the building blocks in place to actually move in that direction, which we successfully did.
So out of all the people who are, kind of chasing the CEO position, which there's many of them, right, and a very small percentage of those actually make it to that position, and I'm sure even a smaller percentage actually end up thriving and being fulfilled in that position. Why do you think that you, as Dan Pidgeon, was selected to be CEO, of Sears, of McIntosh Group, and I'm sure others that you've done?
That's a good question. Sometimes I wonder that myself. Is why I got selected. But I think, look, I was never the smartest student. I was never the person in school that impressed anybody.
We have hope, everybody.
Well, I think the reality is the CEO has to be smart enough to know they're not that smart, right? And they have to be smart enough to know that there are some extremely talented people that don't necessarily want to be CEO or wouldn't be a good fit for CEO. But I have this belief, this core belief, that people want to do good. People show up to work wanting to do good and advance the company. And tapping into that and tapping into sort of that collective, winning and all of the fights and all the battles, but you do it towards a purpose. And I think engaging people and getting them to perform at a high level, all in the same direction, I think that's something that either I've been fortunate and found the right people all along the way, or I've done something to motivate people in that way. It doesn't matter what it is, but I think that's sort of my talent, because it's not that I'm going to have the highest ACT score or highest IQ score. I'm going to operate the business with the best people I can find and put them in the right place.
So beautifully said. I love that. That's really good. If you were going to write out, so every week I'll write 3 reminders to myself, right? Hey, think about this week, be present, try to be vulnerable, do these things. If you were going to do that, but it was kind of your life thing, right? You weren't going to change it every week. It was going to be 3 principles, or it could be 1 principle that you wanted yourself to remember, or you want to teach others, right? You go to colleges, and I'm sure you do guest lecturing and whatnot. What are kind of those principles that you try to think of for yourself and to deliver to others?
It's a great question. It's something when I do have the opportunity to speak, and I speak at a couple of universities and on a regular basis, but I usually come back to 4 things. It was 3, but I added a 4th. I'll share with you in a minute. But the one thing is drive forward. Always be moving forward. Don't let yourself become a victim of circumstance. You're going to hit adversity. And as painful as some of that adversity is, and as worthy of sympathy as you may be, the reality is that wallowing in sort of, a poor me doesn't really advance you very much. So approach your life, approach your career in such a way that you're going to face adversity, and you just need to keep moving forward. Mike Tyson has that famous quote, which is, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. You should plan on getting punched in the face, because that's how life, it's just the way life is. Happened to me. It's happened to others. It'll happen to most of the people that are watching this or listening to this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is constantly be improving yourself. So disrupt yourself. Come up with a way to explore, discover, do all of the things that you want to do, and learn what you like, learn what you don't like, learn what you're good at, learn what you're not good at, because you won't do it later in life, and you'll have regrets. So disrupt yourself. Don't let yourself just get so tunnel vision that you don't explore the world around you. The next thing that I always say is I always tell people is say yes. The best things that have ever happened to me have happened to me because people have asked me if I would do something, and I said yes. I like saying yes, and I like being able to do it. Now, obviously, I can't do that all the time, but I try to do it as often as I can. I'll give you an example. My work at the Consumer Technology Association, the owners of the CES show.
Yeah.
The only reason
what is a CES show for those that don't
Consumer
know?
Electronics Show. It's held in every January in Las Vegas. It's the largest trade show on the face of the earth. Hundreds of thousands of people attend. Millions of square feet of exhibit space. If you haven't been, it's definitely something you should experience. And it's the home of technology and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that where they're showing the new robots? And
so the robots, it's the largest car show now. It's the biggest auto show anywhere in the world. Innovation, computing, obviously the usual people there, the Samsung, Sony, LG, those people, but every major company innovation occurs there. I mean, Microsoft is there. Everybody is there, and they're there to show off their latest and greatest in what they believe the future holds. So it becomes a very important show, not just for the industry, but for the world, because it really is. It solves, I mean, there's medical, there's startups, there's all sorts of things that are changing our lives, especially with AI right now. Things are moving rather quickly. So this gathers people to really sort of show them what the possibilities are. But one of the things that way we got there was I was saying yes. Well, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. I said yes because I got an invitation to attend a meeting in Colorado, and it was for this association. Didn't really know it, didn't really understand it, but I said I'll go. So I went, explored it, had a great time. A few years later, ended up getting on the board. A few years later, ended up becoming chairman of the organization, and probably best move I ever made was say yes. Say yes at that moment in time. Now I've said yes to a lot of things that haven't been so great, but this is one where it's worth it. It's worth it to say yes because it's the same thing. When I've served on the board of charities, I've met the most interesting people because somebody asked me to serve on a board and I said yes when I could have easily said no. And so the most fulfilling things that I've had is because I've said yes to things that I think a lot of people don't say yes to. And I get it because time is precious and everybody's got things going on. And so saying yes is hard sometimes. Anyways, that's my third thing. The fourth thing that I say, and this probably is, I tell people to be nice. Just be nice. You want to be the person that when somebody asks about you, they say, oh, they're really nice. Even if you're nothing else, you can be nice. And by being nice, more good things come to you. Being nice, being kind, it's the easiest thing you can do. And it probably helps you more than anything else because it helps you with your reputation, helps you with who you are, and it helps you feel good about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well said. So it's be ready for adversity, evolve yourself, say yes, and be nice.
Correct.
That's a Dan Pidgeon recipe.
I mean, it's as good as I got.
That's awesome. Well, it served you well.
Thank you.
You said that we're all going to get punched in the face at some point, right? Metaphorically. And can you think of a moment, like when you think about getting punched in the face, what comes to mind for you?
Oh, sure. I mean, I worked in a family business and grew a successful family business. Ended up thinking that the course was going one way, ended up having a disagreement with my family. Didn't end well. And so that's what launched me over to Sears, actually, when I left the family company that I'd started and worked for 20 plus years. So that was certainly something that was disruptive. But, the interesting thing is that, you decide in your mind what's right and what's wrong. And, deep down you're doing right. And so getting punched in the face in that particular time, yeah, certainly it was hurtful, but, it wasn't something where I ever didn't believe in myself or didn't think that, I could overcome it. And, there's been challenges in business. I mean, walking into Sears, there were plenty of times it sometimes felt like, daily or hourly, you can get punched in the face because you think you could, when you have a 7,000 employees and you're trying to get them to go in a certain direction, things go wrong and systems go wrong. IT goes wrong. Bad things happen just, in the course of business. And you have to keep going. You've got to, not that you don't learn from it, not that you don't deal with it, but you can't wallow in it and you can't feel sorry for yourself because, especially if you're a CEO, because nobody really cares if you're a CEO, how bad you feel or don't feel. You have to lead people through. That's by definition what you do.
You mentioned earlier being fulfilled in work, and I feel lucky to hear all this side of you, because another big side of you that I've gotten to see is you being a father and a husband, which you do extremely well. You've got 2 kids who are amazing, and I feel fortunate to have really gotten to know Madison. And I consult with her on the podcast a lot because she worked at Spotify and now works at Netflix. And so she's well poised and always gives just wonderful advice.
She's very special. You're giving me too much credit, though. Those kids were raised by their mother, and she's wonderful. And she did that. My life, my work schedule, I was not there as much as I wanted to be, or probably even should have been. I'm trying to make up for lost time now, and I agree with you about my kids. I'm having the best time with them now than I've ever had, and it's been great having them as adults. Madison is an example of somebody coming into their own. She's doing all sorts of great things, and she loves interacting and helping, and she has a keen eye and a keen ear on certain things. So it's fun. That's probably really fulfilling to watch my kids grow up and see them sort of find what they want to do, and hopefully live by some of these traits that help them overcome the challenges that are sure to come.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll ping Madison before an episode. I'll say, Madison, this is the context of the guest. What kind of question, what kind of topics do you think I should probe at? And she always has good ones. So last time I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, I'm interviewing Dan tomorrow. I've been thinking about this for a while. And I'm like, I have to text Madison and ask her what I should ask.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She teed you up nicely. There's nothing bad.
Okay.
What she said I should ask you is, what do you think it means to be fully fulfilled in your career? And how do you get to that point?
That's a great question. I would probably answer it by saying that watching others succeed, watching people achieve around you as a result of sort of either the guidance or the obstacle that you moved for them, to be able to watch them thrive, it's very, very fulfilling. And as a CEO, that's probably the most fulfilling thing that you can do, is you watch this success that's generated by people that previously didn't have that success. That's something that's very, very fulfilling to me. Being able to, on a personal side, being able to be present and enjoy my family is fulfilling. You don't have a lot of time, and that's the other part of a CEO, and that's okay, because that's the life that you choose. But I'm fulfilled when I get the time with my family, with my kids, because I truly enjoy being with them, and that's fulfilling to me. So on a personal side, it would absolutely be time with my family. I don't know if Madison would agree that it's fulfilling to her, but I think she would. She gets to see me anyways. But it work, it really is seeing people succeed, and that's, as somebody in my position, I don't think that there's any greater fulfillment than seeing somebody that either couldn't do something or didn't do something before but now can.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned not spending enough time with them back in the day, which I love, that vulnerability and just being real, because I think that helps so many people, who maybe are, a couple years behind you. Would you change anything about that? Would you do anything differently?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. There's lots of things that that you look back on, you say, gee, I could have done this or I could have done that. But in total, no, because I think you first have to fulfill and be happy with what you're doing in your career, in your life, in your relationship, and you have to count on the people that you are with. Now, your kids are your kids, but your spouse becomes really, really important, because they are your partner in this. And
it's a great word.
If you're not on the same page, your life is going to be miserable. So I had good fortune, because I have a great wife. We've been married 28 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And she was there. Did she get mad at me when I didn't show up to things, or did she get, upset? Sure she did. But there was this understanding that, what I was doing, what I was trying to do, was part of my path. and part of what I needed to do. And she was very supportive. Now, if she wasn't supportive, I don't know that I would have gotten to do what I do. And I certainly wouldn't feel as good about it as I did today if it weren't for that. So I guess the fifth pillar I should probably add in there is choose carefully who you want to partner with, because that partner is going to make the difference whether or not you're going to be happy and successful or not.
Yeah. I mean, 28 years.
Yeah.
What else have you had consistently in your life for 28 years?
Very little. Like, let's see, I've known her longer than I've not known her.
Wow.
Right. So,
Yeah.
There's very few things that are in my life. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have an article of clothing anymore that's that old. So yes, I think that's probably the longest thing in my life.
That's special. Where are you spending most of your time now?
So I think on an airplane. That's I think I spend most of my time. It's been great. I don't love traveling, but I've forced myself to get good at it. This is a global company, so this is the first time I've ran a global company. Even Sears, even though it was a large organization, it was still North American based, and so that was the focus. And so traveling around the United States and traveling globally are kind of two different things. Is the time adjustment and getting there, and just the amount of time that it burns. You got to figure out a way to make time on planes productive. I'm not the best person at that, so I've had to learn. Sort of.
Are you doing better?
I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better at it, because it's hard. I mean, obviously, internet on planes now helps quite a bit, but a lot of my time is spent traveling. Now, since we've opened here the House of Sound, I plan on being here more often, because I think this is sort of this. New York is the center of the universe, even though I don't live here. It's still the center of the universe. People come here. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place still with everything going on. It's still, the greatest city for what we do, and for people looking for our types of products. So being here and engaging with the community, engaging with the guests, they come through the house, learning from them, sort of, what they like, what they don't like, and then being with our people in one place. I think that's something that is very tough post-COVID, getting that synergy and that energy back together, people working together and collaborating. And so my plan will be is to be here a lot more often and a lot less overseas.
Italy, mostly overseas?
Italy is most of it. We have a factory in Italy, Vicenza, Italy, through one of our brands, which is Sonus Faber. But this last year, I've been to different areas of Europe. We have offices in Amsterdam. We have business in the UK. We just opened up in France. We opened up in Asia. We've done business there, but we also now have some of our own offices in there. And then we have good distribution partners in other areas of the world. And so I took the time to visit them, because they don't really know me. It's my first, not only is it my first global gig, it's my first manufacturing gig. So I've always been on the consumer side, on the retail side. I've never been on the manufacturing side. So this is something really different.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. This space specifically, being in the center of the universe, literally, can you mention who lived here before? Are you allowed to say?
I don't know if I can say. I suppose if you look it up, if you look up the address, which you can publish, you could probably Google and figure out what celebrities have lived here. But it's a great address. It's a pretty neat address.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then being downstairs in the theater and watching, Hugh Jackman and all these people and all these scenes in movies, it literally felt like being on a roller coaster, just like this movement that took place. And so to feel that emotion, but then also to know that the people you're watching on the screen are going to be coming through this building, right? Like you truly are at the center of it all, which I think is just so exciting.
So we're very fortunate. We have an amazing roster of clients that you can imagine. If you're an artist, this is the best way to hear your music back. It's the best way to experience other people's music. In theater, which you just heard, which was a combination of our Sonus Faber speaker line and our McIntosh products all put into that theater. It also makes actors come to life, which they are also big customers of ours. So yes, I think for me it's thrilling. I think for the actor it's probably they see it all the time. So them seeing themselves on TV or on screen may not be that big a deal, but it's been exciting to welcome celebrities to the house. I've sort of moved past the I'm still impressed by people, but I've been able to control myself so I don't embarrass myself or get like, oh, hey, can I get your autograph type thing, which I don't do. But it's because you're humble there. That's what we like about you. But it's just fun. I mean, everything about this company, being able to deal with celebrities, athletes, musicians, being able to really enjoy the product. I mean, the quality, the sound, and the output of the product. And I played a scene for you from a movie, a song that I had never heard before I started this job, and it literally, even listening to it with you, which I've probably listened to it 50 times, still gives me goosebumps because of the power and the energy that comes across through sound. And how many things in life can do that? Right?
Yeah. What movie was that from?
The Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that was the scene. Never. It's Never is the name of the song.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. You guys gotta look that up.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. That's pretty cool.
The speaker system that we're surrounded with right now,
Correct.
can you tell us how much it costs?
So the room is probably somewhere around 300,000 all in. The speakers are 140,000 for the pair. This is our flagship speaker from McIntosh with flagship amps that are here, and then our flagship equipment here. So it's a pretty nice setup. It's only 2 speakers, but it will sound much bigger than just 2 speakers. I promise.
I think I'll have to stay as a friend, not a client. For
This is why we dream, right? This is why we work hard. This is why we get up in the morning.
This is why I can learn from you.
Right. Well, you don't have to spend 300,000 to get a McIntosh system.
Yeah.
But this is the flagship. And it's an investment for sure. I mean, the one thing that I'll tell you this is the most unusual thing about McIntosh that I've seen. If you go online and you look up McIntosh used, you will find it in most cases at the price it used to sell for. So if you pay $6,000 for a piece of McIntosh equipment 10 years ago, you go online right now to buy it used, it'll be $6,000. This is the only consumer electronics piece of equipment that I've ever known, and I've been in the industry pretty much all my career. I've never seen any product hold its value like that. Wow. In fact, in some cases, they become, because they were limited or they were limited in number, they go for outrageous numbers. What was it? One was auctioned off with it went for like $300,000 as part of this album. I'll think of it, of course, right after the podcast. But it was a famous musician's, he owned it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they auctioned it off. And, it's incredible. It's incredible equipment. And so the idea of investing in it becomes, less negatively affected if you can turn around and have value. Now, most people will probably never sell their equipment. They'll enjoy it and keep it. But I guess there is that comfort that, just like a expensive wristwatch or something like that, this will hold its value. So I think Patek Philippe has a saying, you don't really own it. You're just taking care of it for the next generation. I think that pretty much applies here as well.
Yeah, that's well said. You guys have partners in Jeep, right? You guys do their high-end Jeeps.
So our audio system is inside the Jeep, the Wagoneer, and some of the high-level trims of the Grand Cherokee.
Okay. And then I have to ask, Mr. Ferrari, how did that come about?
You've heard that from Jay Adair on there. And I got to meet, it was interesting.
And you got a shout out, actually.
I don't know if he said my name, but I knew exactly who he was talking about when I saw that. we got a call at the factory. Now, keep in mind, I was maybe, 3 or 4 months into my role. We got a call at the factory requesting a meeting. When my assistant, who was new at the time, came in and said, Mr. Ferrari would like to meet you. I thought some of my friends were kind of kidding with me. Probably would have been Jay, by the way, that would have covered. And she didn't know because, maybe she thinks I meet with these people all the time. So that was a cool experience. I ended up going and went to Maranello. And
Is that where the
Ferrari factory is in Italy. And went with our chief design officer who also lives in Italy. And we went down there and we spent the day with Mr. Ferrari. And interestingly enough, as I learned, he's the last Mr. Ferrari because he had one daughter. And I don't believe she took the name, so he's the last Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari passed away. His brother, our stepbrother, passed away, Adino. And so he's very active and a kinder, nicer gentleman you can't find. And so I got the opportunity to ask him why he wanted to show me the factory.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared with me that he was a huge fan of our products. And that was gratifying to hear and gratifying to see. And he's just, like I said, a gem of an individual. I've now seen him. Now he came to our factory, so he had a tour, and so I got the chance. I didn't show him the products, and I'm talking about the Sonos Faber speakers that are made in Italy. He drove up to there. Hopefully he'll be here at the House of Sound. He has an open invitation to come, so hopefully he'll come here, which he said he plans on doing. So we'll see how that plays out. But of all the things that you think of in your career, did I ever think that I would be running the world famous McIntosh Group, but that I would meet Mr. Ferrari on top of that? That's something that I never imagined would happen in my career. So this gets back to you don't really know what your course is. You don't know where that takes you, and it's been great. I mean, it's a fun. I tell people all the time I have the greatest job on earth.
Wow. What does humility mean to you?
Good question. I would say honesty, transparency, and probably the realization that you're not the most important person in the room.
Well said. Dan, thank you, brother.
It was fun.
Yeah, man. I appreciate this. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Permission to Shine, the podcast dedicated to sharing the most humble, inspiring stories that I know you will love. Again, this is Andrew Nemani. I appreciate you tuning in. As always, please reach out. Please follow on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple. Leave us your thoughts. Let us know who you want as a future guest or what's your takeaways from this conversation. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great, great week.